In this one, I'm going to show you how to checkmate with a king and rook. It's fairly simple. It's very easy. You lower levels will be very surprised at how many people do not know how to checkmate with the king and rook. I'm going to show you the easiest way to remember it. Just to keep it short, simple, and you'll learn the rest yourself fairly easily. But I'm just going to give you the ammunition that you need to know how to end a game when you're left with just a king and a rook. So. What is our goal? Our goal is to force the enemy king onto the edge of the board. Any edge is fine. And how do we do this? Okay, let's get into it. We want king opposition. Let's see what our rook covers. Our rook covers the c file, so the enemy king cannot move this way. So we're going to start off just by playing e4, see what the enemy king does. The enemy king can't move here because our king's covered it. He can't move here because our king's covered it. And he can't move anywhere on this C file because our rook's got it. So these are the three moves that black can do. He's dangerously close to the 8th rank. This is the edge of the board. It would lead to the quickest checkmate here. By playing king to e4, we are forcing the king to make a choice, and if he wants to avoid the 8th rank, he's probably going to play e6, and he doesn't avoid the 8th rank at all because we're going to play the rook to c6 now, taking over the 6th rank with the rook. Our king covers these 3 squares. This is king opposition, and whenever you play the rook onto the same rank as your opponent's king, you want to make sure that you have king opposition like this, because you're forcing the enemy king back now. So let's say they attack your rook, which are all sorts of levels you'll probably see. You can either play the king here to d5 covering your rook, or you can just play the rook away from the king, and you'll probably find that at the lower levels especially that the king and rook endgame, your opponent is just attracted to the rook here because they're so desperately trying to take it. So you'll probably see, oh, the rook, let's chase it. And what you're going to do here, I mean, there's nothing stopping you from playing to e5, getting the king opposition, but you got to think whose move is it next. If we play to e5, it's black's turn, and they just move out of the opposition. So if we get the feeling that they are attracted to the rook, why don't we set the opposition up? Okay, f5, king to f5. You want to go from the rook, go chase it. They'll say, okay, that's fine. I'll chase your rook. All of a sudden, you've got king opposition again. Here it is. The kings face each other. Your king covers these 3 squares. The king can never, the opponent's king can never move away from the 8th rank. It doesn't matter if it's the H file edge of the board, the A file, the first rank. It doesn't matter. It works all ways. In fact, we'll do it in reverse later on. So okay, we've got king opposition. Now's the time to take over the 7th rank with the rook. Again, let's say he's just crazy for the rook. Move the rook out of the way, and okay, you can chase the rook. You can try another tactic, which would lead to checkmate pretty quick. In fact, let's just show what happens if they're not attracted to the rook. In this case, they play to h8. Think whose turn it is next. If we play to f6, this avoid it does lead to checkmate, but it's the long way around. Because it's their move next, obviously chess is very turn based. We'd just play king to g6. They're now forced to play king to g8, and notice that we're not playing snake. It's chess. They can't run off the edge of the board and appear at the other side. We have the king opposition, and if we play the rook to a8, this is checkmate because the king cannot run back. The king can't go backwards. So let's try it the other way. That's what happens if this is the position. Okay. We'll move to the first rank this time. He can do it left. He can do it right. Sorry, left and right. I just can't draw arrows. Do my left from. I do know my left from right. I just can't draw arrows tonight. I'm so hot. So anyway, what would you do here? The rook covers the c file again, but this time it's a little bit different. In this case, I'm just going to play the rook to c6. Is it black to move? Okay. I'm going to play the rook then to f6. Sorry, the king to f6. So the enemy king can go this way, or he can go this way. Being as though these squares are taken. Where is he going to go? Stokefish says king to d4. Okay, this is fine. We're going to play the king to e6. If we get the king opposition again, we just in reverse just play the rook to the 4th rank, forcing the enemy king back, because our king covers these 3 squares. And so if you can hear banging, the hamster is just making a racket in the background. I don't know why he's being such a dickhead. He's just being a dick. His name is Mr. Squiggles. It should explain everything. But anyway, let's get back into it. The king can either move back to the edge of the board where we want him, or he can go for king opposition. If he wants to avoid the edge of the board, he's probably just going to play, he's lost. Here we have the king opposition again. So there we go. The rook to the 4th rank, and let's say he's attracted to the rook again. This time I'm going to play the king to d5, covering the rook, just to show every sort of thing that can go off, and then move out of the way. We can do this, and if this sort of stuff happens, don't repeat moves. You'll end up stalemating the game. Just move your rook. You force them to either move in front of your king or run away, and you get this sort of opposition here. Which is fine. Just chase the king. At some point they will have to come back in front of your king, so just chase them. At some point they get to the edge of the board, and when your king is on the second to last file, they have to move back to it, and we'll just drop to the 3rd rank this time and force the king back. And again, you can either give the opposition now or just come off centre. I like to go offset personally. It doesn't really matter. But at some point they have to come into opposition from your king. So yeah, they come for the rook. Just move the rook out of the way. If they move back this way, trying to repeat moves, don't go giving the opposition straight away. You've got to think whose turn it is. It's your turn, and after you've made a move, say king to f4, they're going to move out of the opposition. Move the rook 1 square. So they go for the run again. At some point they come here and boom, back rank. What are they going to do? Straight for the rook. Yeah, whatever you want. You can dance around a little bit. At some point they have to come into, no matter what happens, as long as you just think about whose move it is next and where they can go and where you can go. If you play your cards right, they have to move in front of your king at some point. There's a forced checkmate around, Like when they get to the edge of the board, they have to move in front of your king. You're going for the king opposition all the time. And when you get king opposition, you want to make it your move. So when you have king opposition, which is this sort of position anywhere on the board, kings facing each other, once you have this, that is when you move and take over the rank that the opponent's king is on to force them back. And in this position, there's no more ranks to fall back on. There's no rank 0, so this is checkmate. I hope this video was good enough. I hope it simplified the King and Rook Endgame. I apologise for Mr. Squiggles giving the banging in the background. If you can hear it at the microphone, I'm not sure what the microphone can pick up and what it can't pick up. But anyway, I hope you've learnt how to checkmate with the King and Rook. So Any feedback on this video, any good feedback is fantastic, massively appreciated, thank you. Any bad feedback is completely fine as well. I can anything I'm doing bad I can try and change to make the viewers experience a little bit better. Any likes, massively appreciated. Just comments in general. Let me know how you're doing. Let me know if it was easy enough to understand. Let me know if there's anything that I could have done to make it a little bit more clearer for yourselves, or anyone else for that matter. And what do you think? And again, any subscribers, that is sort of what YouTube is all about, I guess. Subscribers. More subscribers I have, the more people that get alerted when I upload a new video, and hopefully we can grow as a community together and learn chess together and improve as a bit of a unit. I guess that's the idea. Help chess players of all walks of life, ages, sizes, whatever. I'm going to stop blabbering on. It's my worst defense, I guess. So thank you. I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.